Welcome to solverfy.
So we are being asked about the frequency of diseases in a single gene mutation. What I've drawn here is a hypothetical pathway of interaction, so a signal cascade in a cell. And it might look complicated, but this is actually a way too simple of an example of what the actual network of interactions is within the cell. So suppose that hypothetically this is some pathway that we're looking at, and it starts with the signal that is detected outside the cell, and it can result either in the up or down regulation of replication and transcription. Now, um, a single gene defect would mean that the removal of only one of these proteins, so all of these letters represent different proteins that are responding to the signal. All of these proteins are uh, uh, are in the genome, right? They are coded by some gene in the DNA. So suppose that you have some sort of mutation in the gene B, right? Well, if you take gene B out, gene A is still there to respond, right? Or let's suppose that you take gene E out. If you take gene E out, gene D is still there. So the signal could still go to the destination. And this is what's called redundancy in a cell, right? There's a lot of redundancy built in a cell. Now, I have only drawn one place here where a single gene mutation would cause a disease, and that is C. Because if you see here, C doesn't have any other interconnectivity. So if you take C out, the signal cannot go this way. But if you then ignore everything else that I said, I suppose that you just have a mutation right here on G, well, the signal, so if you ignore this green guy right here, suppose it didn't happen, the signal could still travel via this route to its destination. So there's redundancy everywhere, and because of this redundancy and interconnectivity, removing just one of these proteins, just one gene, is not usually enough for a disease to manifest. Okay, so there's very low chances of a disease happening just because of one mutation, and those chances in developed countries are actually 5%. There's really no way to get the 5% just from looking at pathways like this. That just comes from population statistics. And we know that that is 5%, which is the lowest number on our answer choices here, choice A.